Thank you very much. I'd like to thank IDSA for inviting me. It's indeed an honor to be here. I'll talk about the economic challenges that we face at the moment, and most importantly, post 2014, and what the prospects are. So I'll briefly also touch on the regional cooperation and what's the interdependence between Afghanistan and the other SAARC members. Well, 2014 is obviously a very critical point of time for Afghanistan, because we don't only face one transition, we face three transitions. We face economic transition because the foreign aid will decline. We will face military transitions because the troops will withdraw and Afghan forces will take over. And we will, most importantly, we will face a political transition, which is actually the election is scheduled to be in April 2014. So obviously, it's a very critical point of time, and it's a test for Afghanistan and how it can decide the future. It's been termed that next phase will be the transformation phase. But uncertainties are very obvious. There are, to some extent, pessimism about the future and problems that that the government will be facing. And some people go to the extent that even Afghanistan may turn back and 2014, compare 2014 with 1992, the start of the Civil War. But what's usually ignored to be seen, and what's not usually seen, that actually Afghanistan now is very much different from when it was in 1992. We now have a democratic elected government. We have made a long way to this day. We have actually developed the economy to a certain extent, because in 2001, economy was totally devastated. We didn't have institutions. We didn't have the manpower. Nothing was in place. And if you see over the course of the last 1 decade, a lot has been done. To name a few would be, we have had a 9%, an average 9% GDP growth rate, though it has been very volatile, but still the growth was there. The per capita income has increased 5-folds. That's another achievement that can be counted. If you talk about the banking sectors, we had a few state-owned banks which were actually insolvent, but now we have 17 private banks. The banking assets, which used to be like we had $3 million, the banking asset, but now it's over $5.1 billion. If you see the deficit used to be 60% in the economy, while it's decreased to 40% in 2010. Apart from this economic growth, we have had social developments as well. The number of schools, the enrollment has increased, the women's participation in the country has increased. If you talk about the healthcare, the healthcare facilities has been extended to the rural areas. So these are a number of achievements that has been done during the last 1 decade, and to a certain extent, foreign aid has been the driver of, though it even had the problems. So basically, the factors that contributed to these growths were because in 2004 Afghanistan adopted a new constitution, and in constitution we basically adopted an open market policy. So the aim was to support the private investment, and some state-owned enterprises were privatized. The role of the private sector was made more bold in the economy. The promotion of investment. So now we have been able to attract an estimated, well, it's not fixed, but it could be even more than this, $8.9 billion of investment. Services sectors has grown very well, and if you talk about the trade and regional cooperation, now Afghanistan is a member of SAARC, a member of ECO, and the trade has increased. While before 2001, the trade was only with Pakistan to a certain extent, but now the trade has increased. Now the recent figures are like $9 billion for 2010. Foreign aid has also been a contributor, though there's much criticism about the way it has been spent, because usually these development projects have been channeled through mostly USAID projects, and the way they have been spent too much excessive. I mean, a report of the World Bank says that most of the aid which was supposed to be invested in Afghanistan has not been actually has been there. They haven't taken away from Afghanistan, like in terms of the expatriates salaries, if you talk about the luxuries and all that, and most importantly, the contractors. A lot of if you see the big contracts, they are usually the contractors from the foreign. They've came and taken off the contracts. So though it has contributed to some extent, the way it has been actually, it had a role, but the way it has spent in Afghanistan, it was not channeled through the government. That has created some problems. So these were the positive sides. Now the problems that we have in the economy, and the problems that were not addressed in the last 1 decade, and the challenges that might be faced in the future. Most importantly, still after even a decade, we have the political uncertainty and security issues are there. So in the future, political leadership will play a very crucial it will be very crucial. We still have very weak institutions. Not much has been done in terms of capacity building of the institutions, because the existence of parallel organizations in the country, that this has been a major problem. So the civil reforms have not been there. Administrative reforms are needed. Another thing that's can be a problem, and it's a problem, some of the inefficiencies of the government policies. If we see the trend, for instance, the investment has had very positive role in Afghanistan's economic development so far. But if you see the policies are not somehow very attractive. For instance, if you see the burden on, the trade has been very much, dependence has been too much on the trade, while investment has usually been, if you see the trend, around 60% of the investments have been done in logistics and logistics companies. Basically, what the logistics companies do, they import the material from outside, and they supply it to the contractors, to the etc. But what could be done and what should be done in the future is to focus more on the industries, because these are the sectors that actually create jobs. They actually boost economic growth. Not much has been done on these industries, and given this fact, one of the future challenges is for the next government, the policies should be to be adopted is the support of industries sector. Well, so basically, if you see beyond 2014, what's important for us, World Bank has estimated under most probable situation that the current GDP growth rate, which is 9% on an average, this will decrease to 6% for the next few years till 2018, and will further decrease to 5% in till 2025. At the same time, the foreign aid will also decrease. So what are the options for Afghanistan? There's from where I see, there's two options: either to be a very pessimistic and say, okay, things are very uncertain and it's not going to be fixed. The other option is to, acknowledging the challenges, find out ways how we can do things and how we can be self-reliant, because the foreign aid will not be there till eternity. Ultimately, the shift had to be done. So what I'm proposing is certain. This is basically, though it's a challenge, it's also an opportunity for Afghanistan to become as a self-dependent country. And in spite of several years of difficulty that we may face and we will face in the initial phases, the model of development will be changed, and then we will be a sustainable economy. So what we can count on, the most, I believe there are two most important sectors in the economy: agriculture and natural resources. Agriculture, because more than 70% of the population is dependent on agriculture, and if the policies are towards promoting the agriculture sector and attracting investment in agribusinesses, this will impact the lives of too many people. So to some extent, poverty issues and unemployment issues in the future will be addressed. Natural resources, if you see, the biggest problem for Afghanistan will be the fiscal gap that will be there after 2014. So if we, the contracts, the natural resources play a very important role. 2015 will be the first year that the mining sector will start generating revenues. So this is the hope that somehow the mining sector will minimize the gap, the fiscal gap that we have, but this is something that at the same time we also need the foreign aid. I mean, the gradual reduction in foreign aid is very important. We cannot just take away all the funds after 2004. So the funding decrease should be very gradual. At the same time, focus should be on agriculture. On agriculture, the focus should not only be on market development. At the same time, the policies. Over the last 1 decade, not much has been done for the agriculture in terms of the irrigation system, etc. So the policies should be toward maintaining and supporting these two sectors. Private sector plays a very important role here, and this should be further encouraged. Though, because of the uncertainty, a couple of days back there was an official interview from the Afghanistan Investment Support Agency. They were talking that in spite of all this uncertainty for the future, the investment has actually grown 20% comparing to this the quarter last year. So what I've seen from my experience with the Afghan Investment and Support Agency, that mostly the companies are eager. We have had a lot of discussion with some foreign companies. The problem is that they are not. They want a kind of a political security. Mega was there. They had a program for Afghanistan, AIGF, Afghanistan Investment Growth Facility, that worked it worked with some 7 companies, but it was closed down in 2011. And now the procedures for ensuring it through Mega is very lengthy and all that. So what I'm proposing that that existence of institutions like the Mega or OPEC are very important at this critical point of time, because they actually guarantee the investment. Investment plays a very important role in the future of Afghanistan. The second thing that I'll focus on is the administrative reforms. As I mentioned, though much has been done, a lot of improvement has been done, but still, if we see the institutions are very weak. They are not capable of handling a lot of things. So the reform in administrative system, in the civil system, is very important for the future of Afghanistan. And if we think very long term, education plays a very important role. The literacy rate is very high in Afghanistan, and the education and capacity building programs need to be focused. Though enrollments have increased, the number of private institutions have increased, and a lot of improvement have been done, but still, since the illiteracy rate is very high, this problem should be addressed. Coming down to the prospects of the regional cooperation integration, well, yesterday someone from the audience said that the situation will not deteriorate because the US or the international community has the stakes. I'll say even the SOC. Some of the SOC members have now stakes in Afghanistan. If you see the geostrategic location of Afghanistan, Afghanistan has usually been termed as the land bridge between the South Asia and the Central Asia. This can be, so we can actually take this opportunity for the economic growth of our country, plus the regional economic coordination. Examples could be the pipeline, the TAPI pipeline, or the recent import of electricity to Pakistan from Tajikistan. So here we can see that dependencies to some extent is there, and plus India's booming economies, they want to in the future extend their products to Central Asia, and Afghanistan is a good option for them. What needs to be done here is the building of the infrastructure. Infrastructure is very weak now, though the countries in the north of Afghanistan and to some extent Pakistan, in Iran, they have connectivities, railways and all. So these issues must be addressed. Apart from that, even Afghanistan is very much dependent on regional cooperation and integration is very important for Afghanistan, because Afghanistan is a landlocked country and we basically depend on the neighboring countries, especially Iran and very importantly Pakistan. So integration is required there, because exports play a very important role in Afghanistan's economy, and this can be done through proper coordination with our neighbors and the SOC members. And another factor that plays a very important role is the extractive industries. Now, the contracts have been secured by China and by India. When we want to take it out of the country, proper infrastructure and coordination, regional coordination is required to actually work on this. So to conclude, I'll say that we are having a very difficult time ahead of us, but it's not impossible to to come out of this uncertainty. We have problems, but with every problem there's an opportunity to further grow. If foreign aid is declining, we have an opportunity to become self-dependent. And development for a country like Afghanistan, which has suffered from 3 decades of war, takes a time. And I believe we are on a right track right now, and hopefully things will work out for the best in the future. Thank you very much.